Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Based EDH podcast. Your source for no cringe commander, and today we have a very saucy and, dare I say, sexy build for you?
He did just dare to say sexy.
That doesn't mean that it is, but goddamn if I didn't say it. Yo, Dakota, how the fuck are you doing, my guy?
I can't currently hear out of my right ear, and I am dead inside. But other than that, man, I'm living the dream.
Should we, switch sides of the microphone so you can hear me then?
Nah, I'm good.
Are you sure? Because
Yeah.
I don't mind. I'll switch.
We're winging this.
Oh, fuck it. Cool. Yo, so Dakota, my man, you know what the hell's going on, but let me tell the people at home. So, we go to an LGS, and there's a dude named Dylan works at the LGS.
Shout out to Dylan.
Shout out to Dylan. We're not going to tell you which LGS because we don't want you to send him lewd pictures of yourselves.
He might appreciate it, though.
I don't know. Maybe he's a man of culture.
Well,
but...
I don't want to know because somebody hasn't subscribed to us yet.
Yeah,
Dylan.
fucking Dylan. We went and built... So, we're like, yeah, Dylan, subscribe to our shitty podcast. And he's like, what's it called? And I'm like, we're like, Based EDH. He's like, okay, I'm going to fucking subscribe. And I'm like, Dylan, what deck should we build next? And he's like, Old Stickfingers. I'm like, fucking look forward to it. And that was about 4 years ago. because I actually, like, work a fucking long-ass hours job. And so trying to find the time for me and Dakota to get together and get this thing, like, built... It was a nightmare.
This is also the third deck that we ended up building for this before we decided this is the one to podcast. So I mean, we brewed one that was just your general Stickfingers.
Yeah, I built a boring ass Stickfingers list, and then I was gonna sauce it up from there. But that was cringe. And so then Dakota,
I built an Old Stickfingers Umori companion deck, which was just 64 creatures, 36 lands,
which is a really cool deck. However, we kind of wasted our fucking time and took too damn long. And next thing I know, Commander Cookout Podcast has the exact same list up.
Commander Cookout, eat a dick. I thought of it first.
Yeah, F those guys. Dakota doesn't... That's a funny joke because they say that all the time on their show. They're like, yeah, well, they're like, welcome to the nation. And yeah, F those guys. Fucking, I don't know. I love their show. But so we didn't want to just copy something else somebody else had already put up. Not that they know us or give a shit.
So the final Old Stickfingers deck that we figured out is pretty cool.
It's also pretty fucking stupid.
Let's figure out what Stickfinger does first. Old Stickfingers is Golgarian X. When you cast this spell, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And his power and toughness are equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard.
So the thing about Old Stickfingers is when you take a first glance at him, what you want to do with him is ramp, dump a ton of mana in, and then dump as many creatures from your graveyard as you can with Old Stickfingers. And the cool thing about him is that he says reveal till you hit that many creatures.
Yep.
So however much you pay into that X cost is how many creatures you're going to get.
Yep.
That's really, really cool. That's really sweet kind of effect.
Yeah, and let's say let's say you only had one creature that you really loved that you wanted to always have out.
Let's say you didn't actually want Old Stickfingers to be your commander.
Which we kind of cheated, Dylan. Eat our dick, though.
Yeah, fuck you, Dylan. Psych! This is an Impervious Great Worm deck, baby! Welcome to Impervious Great Worm .deck.
So, literally, you just cast Old Stickfingers for technically 4, but in this instance 3.
Yeah.
Just get Impervious Great Worm out, and then you just recur his ass.
So here's the thing. This deck has 3 creatures in it. We'll tell you what the third is in a moment, but the first, Stickfingers. Second, Impervious Great Worm, which is, I believe that is the biggest power and toughness in Magic. Until you get into some, like
unsets.
Yeah, you get into
BFG,
some unsets and some other...
Or BFM.
Merit Lodge is a token that's bigger. But as far as like actual like cardboard, like you can cast this spell, Impervious Great Worm is where it's at, followed by like Emrakul and World Spine Worm and a couple other things down the line. But anyways, we are only running 3 creatures in this deck. So let's talk about the Impervious Great Worm, because the Impervious Great Worm is actually our commander.
Casting cost doesn't fucking matter.
Doesn't fucking matter, but it's 7 and 3 green if you wanted to do that way. If you're, if worse comes to worse,
it's got Convoke if you're gay.
It doesn't matter. Who gives a shit about Convoke? Fuck you. What we care about is that this is an 16/16 indestructible worm.
Somehow doesn't have trample.
Doesn't have trample. Wizards, you motherfuckers! You made this the box topper set for like a Ravnica Allegiance or whatever it is. One of those sets that I can't even remember. I can't bother to remember the goddamn
Guilds
names
of
anymore.
Ravnica.
Was this Guilds of Ravnica?
GRN.
Oh, on the bottom right there. Yeah. Yeah, fuck them. Didn't ask. Anyways, why couldn't you just slap trample on here? It's not like it's going to break anything. Just fucking
you
run
have
removal.
a 1/1 elf that is literally a fraction of the size of this Great Worm. Sorry, it just blocks it.
Yep. The thing about the Great Worm that I can see with him is he's actually so fucking stupid that he just gets easily distracted, and that's why he doesn't have trample.
But that's a pretty easy thing to maneuver with a certain card and Old Stickfingers guaranteeing you that you're dumping it.
And here's the thing. When I originally built this deck, I wanted only Impervious Great Worm as the only creature in the deck. And I was like, that's great, because then you just pay 3 and you're basically, you have an entomb in the command zone.
Yep.
So you entomb the Impervious Great Worm in your graveyard, and then we're going to recur it, right? But there's one more synergy we could do to get that Impervious Great Worm even stronger. Brawn. So, this is the only other creature in the deck. If you pay 4 for Old Stickfingers, you will go and you will find Impervious Great Worm. You will go and you will find Brawn. Dump them into the graveyard, and now, when you recur your Impervious Great Worm, IP, Impervious for short, Ip Man. Yo, you seen that movie? That's dope. Then Brawn gives him trample from the graveyard, because you're going to have a forest.
Yep. You literally cannot cast Old Stickfingers if you do not have a forest.
So here's the thing. Just bite the bullet. I mean, if y'all at home want to build this deck and you just want to do the Impervious Great Worm, for one, I respect the Sigma grind set. 2, just slap Brawn in and just cast him for 4, because most of your recursion is going to be a little bit more than 4 anyway. And
Almost all.
We're gonna talk about that here in a bit. That's our recursion section. It's alive! He did. We're bringing him back.
I think 20 or 21 different recursion spells, because you want to always have that.
Yeah.
Once you get it, it's kind of a dead card in your hand moving forward. Yeah, if you need a certain amount of cards to make the deck work.
And you know what? Odds are he's going to get... somebody's going to try to Swords to Plowshare him, and we have ways to make sure that he doesn't go to exile and goes to your graveyard, and then you can cast him again. But you know what? In the meantime, they're having to deal with the 16/16 Indestructible and Trampling Worm, which puts them on a pretty quick clock. So, we've got a couple of things that aren't... Now, these aren't exactly the greatest recursion spells, but think about it this way. Instead of it saying that text below there, it says pay 6, get a 16/16 Trampling Indestructible Worm.
No matter what, you're definitely cheating mana cost.
For sure.
And we've had to sacrifice higher mana cost. We've had to sacrifice to be able to use higher mana cost cards, because those are the ones that put the creature into play.
Yeah. And this one's got a cool entwine effect, but you can either destroy a creature or return a creature. If you want to sacrifice the lands, that's your prerogative. I'm not your dad.
It's an instant speed. It's got some flexibility in it. It's okay at 6 mana.
Yeah, we'll go for more. Oh, back for more. Golgari recursion spell. Dakota, you want to hit that shit?
Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. When you do, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So, yes, it's 4 a black and a green, so it's technically 6 mana, but really you got to think about it. You're paying 3 mana to return a creature to the graveyard. That's a great rate.
Yes.
And then you're paying 3 mana for it to fight something, which isn't that great of a rate. But for 6 mana to do both, to get a creature and as a removal,
yep,
that's a good deal.
And I love that it's an instant speed. Also, great artwork. Unbreakable Bond. There is an awful lot of 5 mana sorcery speed mono black recursion. And that's kind of the rate they like to do to be safe.
But thankfully to power creep, they're starting to give little effects to it, such as put a lifelink counter on the creature.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice to gain 16 life on each swing, or each block if that's what ends up happening. Return Upon the Tithe. We don't really care about the elf thing because we're not ever going to recur an elf. We don't run any elves, but you can foretell it for cheaper, which I'm not going to bother to read, and if you want me to, you can go fuck yourself.
Well, that was one of the last cards that was on the cutting block. It was down to that and 1 or 2 other recursion spells, and I said, well, at the end of the day, if I got nothing else to turn to, I can do this.
We want to slap as many recursion in here as we can. Necromantic Summons for 5. Hit it, my man.
Put target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and then Spell Mastery. If there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, That creature enters the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. Spell Mastery could be kind of hard to hit in this deck, but ultimately, it's extra value.
Yeah, it's just upside. Liliana. So this is one of the only other ways we can get creatures onto the battlefield. Because if you wanted to, you can +1 Lily and make a zombie and then do a mill effect, which is marginal in here. But really, we want to just drop Lily for 5, -3 her, and pull the Impervious Great Worm back.
Yep.
And if somehow you end up getting into the ult range, which I doubt you will, but if you do, it's not going to blow up your Impervious Great Worm because he has Indestructible.
And he's a zombie.
And also, this is amazing artwork. One of my favorite lilies. Diregraph Rebirth. Hit it.
This one's also 5 mana. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. Not really helpful as a sorcery speed.
Yeah.
But it has flashback for 7. It lets you do something twice. That's always extra value.
And I'm pretty sure that the subtraction of the cost works on the flashback cost
as
well.
well.
So, I mean, it has potential. It absolutely has potential. But it's a 5 mana recursion spell in our colors. That's why it's here.
And then let you do it twice.
I think it's one of the newer cards in the deck. Cauldron's Gift. So pay 5. It's got that adamant effect that they did back in Throne of Eldraine. So if you spent like at least 3 black pips to cast the spell, then you get to mill 4 before you do this.
Not that great.
We don't really care, so don't worry about it.
We care about the additional +1/+1
recur
counter.
Recur a creature, put a counter on it.
Bond of Revival.
I love the bond cycle. They're not all that great. This is one of the better ones in my opinion.
I love the artwork. The mix between the Golgari and the Rakdos.
Yeah, that was a really cool thing. Because, I mean, here we're in War of the Spark and the guilds are having to, like, team up. So this is, like, the Jund symbol now. Yep. I like it. But
and what I love about this is by teaming up with Rakdos, you get access to haste. So you're paying 5 mana, getting a 16/16 that can swing.
Slight color break, or a bend for black, anyways. So, yeah. And we don't have a lot of haste enablers in the deck.
Beacon of Unrest is one of the best recursion spells, in my opinion, because it's repeatable. You put target, and it hits artifact too. Put target artifact or creature card from a graveyard, and then you shuffle Beacon of Unrest into its owner's library. So you're always going to have access to at least one recursion spell.
Yes. Also, another thing that I think we should mention before we move on too much. So with recursion spells, some of our recursion says pull it from your graveyard, which means it's only really going to get the Great Worm back out. But we're playing Commander. And what do people like to play in Commander, Dakota?
Blue.
You know, that's I will call that a 20% correct answer. People like to play big creatures in Commander, and odds are they're going to end up in the graveyard somehow.
That's why Timmy is literally an archetype of Magic player.
So don't be super scared that you've only got one creature, because odds are you can Beacon of Unrest, steal somebody's artifact or creature, and put it onto your battlefield.
Or, hey, you want to fuck around and bring back your Brawn. Who's going to stop you? Nobody.
I would be very careful about bringing back Brawn, because we don't have a lot of, we don't have that many sack outlets. Yeah, he's got a point. That's the motto at my workplace. Zombify, pay 4, recur a creature from your graveyard. Cool artwork.
A cheaper rate. Doesn't do any other effects. It's 4 mana instead of 5.
Yep. And the thing about it is we don't really care that it's 4 or 5 mana, because realistically we're trying to pay 4 for Old Stickfingers to stack the grave, and then next turn pay 5, rip something out of the graveyard. Vigor Mortis.
I love this card.
So you pay 4. Man, I haven't actually taken a look at this artwork.
It's dope.
Oh my goodness, who made
it? Looks like Stickfingers.
Shout out to Dan Scott, bro. So pay 4, pull a creature card from your graveyard back to the battlefield. Now, if you also manage to pay a green in that cost, then that creature enters with an additional counter on it. So,
do you think we'll have green in this deck?
Odds are we'll have at least one.
Strands of Knight is a tech that Tyler loves.
I do love this, and I've only discovered it recently, and I'm getting copies soon. I'm probably going to put this in my Spectre Tribal list if I ever end up getting that in paper.
This would be great in our Get Rog deck, too.
Oh, the Get...
Because it lets you draw a card, too.
Yeah, that definitely goes in a Get Rog list, or a Windgrace. But anyways, pay 4. You get an enchantment on the battlefield. And that enchantment says, pay 2 black, pay 2 life, sack a swamp. Heavy raid, I know. but it pulls a creature card from your grave back to play. So you now, once you have this out, you never have to worry about getting your Great Worm back out.
This card's like $1.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty
good.
damn cheap for an oldie from 7th edition, but it makes it so that you don't have to worry about the stuff in your graveyard anymore.
And white border cards are the best.
Necromancy.
This is one of the more expensive cards on the list. Any card over $10, we're gonna shout out because of those are cards that are easiest to cut to save money.
And I'm gonna take Dakota's word on that because he built the PowerPoint. Yo, but Necromancy is one of the better known recursion spells because it's so cheap. It's 3 enchantment, so you can play it at instant speed, which we don't want to do, so don't even read that. But when you play Necromancy, you pull a creature from any graveyard to the battlefield. Now, when that, it's just like you cast it, and then if Necromancy gets blown up, then you have to sacrifice the creature.
3 mana, great rate, artwork, great.
Yep. So this is a card that I was kind of iffy on, and then I sold myself on it more and more.
I was in the same boat too.
But I think that it can work fairly well. So Mimic Vat. If you don't know what it does, I'll give you a quick rundown on the imprint on this. So what imprint means is imprint is a mechanic that exiles something, and then you have effects that come into the game later on that vary depending on what you imprinted. For this card, whenever a non-token creature dies, like your Great Worm, then you can exile that card. When you do, pull any other cards exiled with Mimic Vat back to their owner's graveyards. So only one thing can be in the vat at the time. So let's say your impervious Great Worm gets Swords to Plowshares, and you sacrifice out from underneath it so that it doesn't get exiled and completely fuck up your day. Or an opponent has a cool creature that dies, you can slap that bitch in the Mimic Vat. Then later on, you can pay 3, tap it, make a token of that thing, but it gains haste. We don't care if our Great Worm's a token.
No.
We don't give a damn. We care that it's a big boy coming in hot.
And the nice thing about Mimic Vat is we only play 2 creatures. There are a lot of just value creatures. Springbloom Druid, pay 3 ramp.
Yep.
What's the Reclamation Sage?
Rex
Pay
Sage,
3,
yep.
destroy
Eternal
something.
People are going to have those kinds
Creatures
of
are going to
effects.
die. You're going to get access to creatures.
Yep. Even if it's not yours.
That's what ended up selling me on this card. Because you're risking it with the Impervious Great Worm, but at the end of the day, you just pull
Make
somebody
no
else's
mistake.
stuff.
The Impervious Great Worm strategy is not good. But I'll be damned if it ain't fun. Life and death. So we don't really care about the life side of this card. We're going to focus more on death. It's just a 2-mana recursion spell. Pull a creature from your grave. Lose life equal to its mana cost.
I'm
pay
really
10.
surprised this card's not worth more than what it is. Because it's 1 more than an reanimate.
So my thing with it is, I think it's less. It sees less play because it's in Golgari colors. So you have to be running at least green-black to do it.
But yeah, 10 life to get Impervious Great Worm? Yeah.
Literally don't
yeah.
care.
Don't care.
Literally don't care.
Don't
Lose
care,
that
didn't
life.
ask.
Don't care. Cool card. Hit it, Dakota. I know you love this.
I do love this. Ever since Rivals of Ixalan, I've loved this card. I've only had ever 1 copy. I need more. Journey to Eternity. Enchant creature you control. When enchanted creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control, then return Journey to Eternity to the battlefield transformed under your control. Transform into Atsal, Cave of Eternity. Taps, add any mana of any color you want.
Cool.
Or you pay 3 black and green to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Great.
Repeatable recursion on a stick.
That being said, you're not going to want to put this on the Impervious Great Worm.
Why is that?
Because the chances of Impervious Great Worm dying are pretty small.
Yeah, I
But-
can see that.
Here's the thing. Stickfingers will always be on the battlefield because you know you're keeping Brawn in the graveyard.
Yep, I feel you.
You just put this on
you.
put this on Stickfingers just to get it to flip, and then you got a repeatable 5 mana recursion.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about the sack outlets later on. And don't be ashamed to put it on the Great Worm either. It's not a bad option. Persist.
Great spell.
Absolutely. We are going to be okay with making our 16/16 a 15/15 because
2 mana.
it's still going to be a 3-shot commander kill. But pay 2 mana, put a -1/-1 counter on a non-legendary creature in your grave, rip it back out, start being a nuisance in general.
Animate Dead is a $5 card. You could cut it if you wanted to, but it's pretty good. You're not going to notice the $5.
Let me explain this in easy terms. Do you want me to hit this, or are you going to just read this fucking book of text for us?
I was just going to condense it.
Okay, you go. I believe in you. I trust you.
1 black
Ligma.
to cast for an enchant card in your graveyard.
Ligma. Okay, I'm going to shut the fuck up.
an ASMR channel. Basically, you enchant a card in your graveyard. That creature and the animate dead come to the battlefield.
Yes.
If
they're going to come.
Leaves the battlefield, you sacrifice the creature. Why they needed this wall of text, I do not know.
I guess, man, I suppose they couldn't find a better way to... They have to word these things very particularly in order for them to actually work as far as enchantments.
It just kind of like persist. It just turns it into a 15/16.
Yeah.
Training creature gets -1/0.
Is this basically a better necromancy except for you can't flash it and it -1/-O's?
Yeah.
Is it the exact same as necromancy? I think it's the exact same.
Necromancy has value because of flash, but
it does have value because of flash. Not for us, but yo, we gotta talk about the OG, the reanimate for 1 black.
This is one of the more expensive cards as well. Still $12.
Just fucking pull it from fucking Jumpstart. Yeah, that's what it is.
Pay a black creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Use life equal to its CMC.
That's a nice Galta in your graveyard. Mind if I rip it for 1 and pay 12 life?
Gay.
Yeah. Yo, okay, but that was the recursion section. That's kind of the bread and butter. Let's get into what we do in the ramp.
We want to focus on 2 mana spells because we want to get Stickfingers out on turn 3.
Yep.
3 mana spells aren't 3 CMC ramp spells aren't bad. Obviously, 1 mana ramp spells are just as good too.
Like our Traverse the Outlands for when we finally get our worm out.
Yep.
Something. Anyways, let's get right into it. Don't even bother. We should have just like put it in like an asterisk and not had to look at it.
Right.
Wild Growth, pay a green.
I feel like Wild Growth is very slept on.
Same.
How many decks run Llanowar Elves? And if you're not playing an elf deck, Wild Growth is just better because
for real, it does
it's an
put
enchantment.
Now I will say the only downside is you put a little bit more of a target on your land that somebody could beast within. But who
blows up a land because of a Wild Growth?
Like if I've got nothing better to do in the late game, I will beast within your Wild Growth land or whatever. But when is that going to happen? Right. There's always going to be a fucking Lisa for me to blast. Or something else to get rid of.
Right. Well, yesterday, right? Kodiak was playing the Bant Enchantment Commander deck.
Yeah,
from,
the pre-con
C17.
Estrid.
Yeah, he had what's the Simic bounce
18,
one?
actually.
Simic Growth Chamber. He had a Simic Growth Chamber.
Yes.
With 2 enchantments on it. But he had a Sigil of the Empty Throne. We didn't care.
We didn't care about the Sigil of the Empty Throne, and he was he could untap that thing every turn and just ramp with Estrid.
Wild Growth slept on. Put it in more decks.
Deadass. Arcane Signet. Also known as
ring.
It's the Brawl Ring. Golgari Signet. It ramps you and fixes you for 1 mana. Talisman of Resilience. It ramps you for a colorless. If you want to get the moolah, the premium cut, then you're gonna have to pay 1 life, or take a damage rather.
Nature's Lore and 3 visits. They both do the same thing. Go find a forest, put it onto the battlefield. They're both $6. These are cards you could just cut and get a Cultivate and Kodama's Reach if you wanted to.
Absolutely. I like to splurge and actually get things out sooner, so that's important to me. But if that's, you absolutely can just pay 5 cents for the Kodama's Reach.
This deck broke my 2 rules when it comes to ramp section, which is if you're in green, don't use artifact ramp, and if you don't spend a lot of money on your ramp spells. But I was like, the need to get Stickfingers out on turn, when you know you want him at 4 mana and he makes your deck run.
Yeah.
You want him out as fast as
really
possible.
We're such a one-trick pony that we want Impervious Great Worm out on turn 4, maybe 5.
Yep.
Rampant Growth. It's like those last 2, but it comes tapped, and it can go get you a swamp.
Yep.
You can go get a swamp also. That's the ramp section. Draw section. We're in 2 very good drawing colors, Dakota.
Yes, we are.
We're in 2 very good drawing colors, and I don't mind paying the life either. Ambition's Cost. This and Ancient Craving do the exact same damn thing. You pay 4. You draw 3 cards, lose 3 life. But here it is right here.
There you go.
Ancient Craving. It's almost like I built the fucking deck. Yeah. Harmonize. Pay 4, draw 3, don't lose life.
This is what I don't understand. Black is supposed to be like, pay life to draw cards and stuff. So we're gonna 4 mana, draw 3 cards, and lose 3 life.
Okay.
Harmonize is just better in green.
Yeah, I mean, it's we could really get into the debate of, oh, well, it's got pips. If the pips don't lie, bro.
We're in a 2-color deck. Suck my dick.
We can fucking do that. I run that shit in 3-color decks.
I run it in 5-color
wiggly
decks. I do not, because I have access to blue.
We would run it in 5-color decks. Knight's Whisper.
Don't spend $5.
Shout out to whoever left this in their pile of draft chaff last time I was at the LGS, because this is a $6 card. Pay 2, draw 2, lose 2. Really good card.
This card's just way better in my opinion.
Read the Bones is so damn good.
3 mana, scry 2, draw 2, lose 2.
You could potentially see up to 4 pieces of cardboard with this.
Scry 2 is so underrated before it comes into card draw.
Dead ass. Return to the Wild Speaker. This is a great draw spell if you can get your worm out, just like Soul's Majesty.
They are here to functionally do the same thing, which is draw 16 cards.
And I will still complain that Soul's Majesty is a worse card, arguably, than Return of the Wild Speaker.
Oh, 100%.
And it costs more.
It
was only printed twice.
It's not even a question.
But yeah, draw 16 cards, motherfucker.
Removal gang.
So we have the big boy out, and then we don't know what the fuck else to do with the deck. But I tell you what, you can if you're not removing players, you can remove other people in Golgari colors. Let's talk about it. Pest Infestation.
Tyler loves this card.
You see that white thing that guy's holding? That's not paper. I'm off to the side right there, and that's me splooging onto the pest. I wasn't trying.
Splooge the best word for cum.
I wasn't trying to just get completely lewd with that, but it just started happening, and I couldn't stop.
Really, you can stop splooging.
Anyway,
do not come.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna come. Believe me. So, Pest Infestation. So, I've always gotten confused when I first started playing Magic. Not that anybody who's listening to this show, I mean, anybody who just started playing Magic is probably gonna go. They're not gonna listen
to us.
Yeah.
Go to the command zone.
Go to the command zone. Listen to them until you get radicalized by iFunny. And then Pest Infestation.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
Oh my god!
If you comment you're getting blocked.
No. I won't block you, but Dakota will. Pest Infestation. Let me read my fucking card. I love this card so much. So what the double X means is that for each time you pay 2 mana, you get 1 value of X. So let's say you were to pay 5 mana total into this spell. So you paid a green, and then you paid X once, then you paid X twice. So now you have 2 iterations of X as far as what the text says. So now you destroy up to X, in this instance 2 target artifacts and or enchantments, and then create X twice X 1/1 black and green pest tokens with when they die you gain a life. So the thing is, however much mana you put into X, that's how many pests you get.
You get twice that.
But however much mana total you put in, because it's kind of worded weird that it's a little confusing. But one of the other only ways we can get more creatures.
The nice thing about this card too, if you just want pests, you do not have to destroy. You don't have to have legal targets for artifacts and enchantments.
Preach on, and a lot of people don't seem to realize that, because look at that: destroy up to X target artifacts and or enchantments. Period.
Up to.
So I'm going to choose to destroy none because I don't want to. And then, boom, I'm going to make 12 pests.
And listen, we're all about the impervious Grey Worm. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be doing a lot of other shit.
Yeah.
So, you know what? You want to make 40 pests because that's just how much mana you have and you got nothing else to do? Fuck it. Who's going to stop you? Me?
Yep.
No.
And then when somebody board wipes, you gain that life.
Crowsand Grip, one of the best just removal
spells. Do we even need to tell them? I think they know.
Then go to the next card.
I wasn't like trying to like stop you. I thought you were going to be like, no, but we're going to tell them anyway, or anything like that.
This is called what happens when we don't have a script.
Yeah, we don't have a script. We literally just kind of like used hand gestures at each other to like, I tried to like push Dakota into saying something, and then Dakota goes, something, something, something. Tyler is a fucking bitch.
Tyler literally didn't even see this until we started recording.
Yeah, I built the deck, but Dakota's the one who makes the fucking PowerPoint. Anyways, pay 3, split second means nobody else can cast spells, so it's uncounterable. Boom. Destroy target artifact or enchantment.
That's not true. Morphs can counter it. Get fucked.
Does morphing not use the stack?
Nope. Morph
So
is a
Willbender can counter this?
Morph is,
No
is
fucking
the same.
way.
Morph is the same as playing a land for some stupid fucking
What
reason.
the fuck? Yo, I can't believe your Willbender can just stop that. Okay, I'm not even gonna think about it anymore. Putrefy.
Great freaking art. Look at that Sphinx just dissolving.
Fuck that Sphinx,
I think
bro.
that's supposed to be like Asperia, maybe.
No, that's not Asperia.
Fucking, you can't
Because
tell me.
Assassin's Trophy is Asperia.
Yeah, and that's the head of Assassin's Trophy. Fuck you. Destroy target
you,
artifact.
that's not
Creature
Assassin's
can't
Trophy.
be regenerated.
Beast Within, you also know what this does. Pay 3, blow up something. What got destroyed, its controller makes a 3/3 beast. This is a saucy one. This is a very saucy one. Dakota was like, add that shit, my guy. Hit him.
Monstrous Onslaught. For 5 mana, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control as you cast the spell.
And so, as it says, as you cast, it doesn't matter if Impervious Great Worm gets blown out from underneath it somehow.
Yep.
It's still going to go on and do 16 in this instance.
Do you know how much
damage
shit you could kill for 16 power?
You can blow up a lot of fucking hate bears for 16 damage.
Oh my goodness, an insane amount. It's so good. It's a way to get a board wiping green that's all about the Impervious Great Worm. There's literally Great Worms on the art.
That's a Hydra.
Eat me.
That's not how you say that phrase. It's like eat my shorts or something.
No, it's eat me.
What? No, what? I've never heard anybody say that before you.
I'm an innovator. I am Elon Musk.
God damn it. You're the Elon Musk of retarded ideas.
No, that's just
That's
Elon Musk.
just me. That's just me because I'm over here building the Impervious Great Worm deck. Azorius Predation for 8.
For each creature your opponents control, create a 4/4 green beast creature token. Each of those beasts fight a different one of those creatures. And this is a way
to get some creatures.
And this is what I don't. If you spent $20 on this card because you watched Game Nights once and said I need that card, you're dumb. I got these cards for $1 a piece, and now that they got reprinted, they're down to like $2 a piece.
Based.
Do not buy cards like this for $20. Mm-hmm. Be smarter.
Just hold off. There are more pieces of cardboard that will do the job. But bonus points because Azuri looks like fucking Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan for some reason.
Look how fucked up. I just noticed this. Look how fucked up the bottom half of his face is, man. It does not. It looks like it's like shittily painted.
Dude, glistening oil is a hell of a drug, man. You know what I'm saying? Deadly Tempest. What the fuck?
Destroy all creatures. Each player loses life equal to the number of creatures they control that were destroyed this way. At most, it's going to be 1 for you.
Yeah, for you, it's going to be you lose 1 life.
Man, when I play against Tyler Soldier's deck and he has 40 soldiers, that's not my fucking problem.
You know, we talk about that hasn't happened to me yet. It's going to happen to me one day. I'm just going to fucking lose the game because somebody deadly tempests me. Gaze of Granite. So
I love this card.
Also, it's got titty gorgons on it. So you pay a green, you pay a black, and then you pay X. Blow up each non-land permanent with CMC X or less.
The best part about this card is it lets you be selective.
Absolutely.
It lets you be political, it lets you be selective, or it lets you just blow up everything.
Absolutely. If you just want to send everybody back to ground zero with only their lands,
we don't have a lot of non-land permanents in this deck. Mm-hmm. So what you're losing is probably going to be way less than what your opponents are losing on this.
And even if you have to dump 40 mana,
fuck it.
Impervious Great Worm, don't give a shit.
No.
You'll never dump. I don't think anybody's ever going to dump a 40 mana. What really? How big? How high do you think a Gaze of Granite goes?
I would say I would never expect to pay more than 8 for a Gaze of Granite.
In total, is that the X value or is that the total value?
So I guess 11. X equals 8.
Understandable. Okay, hold on. I gotta listen. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. I give the credit where the credit is due. I saw this thing and I didn't put this card in the deck. Dakota put this card in the deck. And I was like, well, Dakota, yeah, it's really cool, but we've only got 3 creatures. How the fuck is that going to be worth it? And then he's like, Tyler, read it again, motherfucker. And it says,
whenever a creature comes into play, destroy all other creatures that share a color with it. They can be regenerated.
That's a creature. That's anybody's creature. So the
So
mono
fucking
blue
good.
player drops their not Hole Breacher because it's banned. What's another blue creature?
Marrow Regery.
I don't know enough to debate it, so I'm gonna say okay.
Fucking all blue creatures
creatures getting
get blown up.
Yeah.
We are only in 2 colors.
Yep.
But you know what's funny about people who play creatures? They tend to share colors in their deck.
Isn't that funny how that goes? So I guess you can get fucked when you play the Eldrazi deck, but other than that...
Oh, okay, yeah, but I think when we're playing the Eldrazi deck, just kind of
We've got
shake their
other
hands and
we've got-
realize that you're probably not going to win that game.
We've got other problems. Our indestructible motherfuckers are going to hit each other, and we're just going to... It's just going to go until somebody mills the other person out from drawing cards on their
what's
turn.
really great? If somebody has like an Dragon deck, they just got a board wipe in there.
Oh,
they got a
fuck
board
me.
wipe. They got a board
so
wipe
fu-
in there.
Dude,
they got a
that's some-
5-color commander.
That's some
just a board
fucking
wipe.
tech right there. Are there any 5-color indestructible commanders?
No.
Damn, that would be...
Well, Progenitus technically is protection from everything, but I don't think that works here.
It says... Just, well, even protection doesn't stop a board
no.
wipe. That would be a lot of fun, though.
No, there's none.
That would be a lot of fun. Dude, one of these days I'm going to build the Progenitus deck. Okay, so we kind of have a hard time in this category, but it's necessary when we're running such a... what's the word I'm looking for? Retarded strategy? What's the word?
Focused.
Yeah, focused. We're very focused.
Glass cannon strategy.
Yes. We want to get some haste on the worm. We can do that with Swiftfoot boots.
I like to imagine this worm just has little tiny feet that he just puts the boots on and he scampers across.
I always imagine like me as like the planeswalker that I'm summoning this thing. It's like, yeah, I know you can't put these on, buddy, but I'm gonna tie him on a string. I'm gonna wrap him around. You get to wear him like a little necklace, and then he's just got a pair of boots hanging off, and he's like,
and then he gives
coming in hot with his necklace. Lightning Greaves basically does the same damn thing, but kind of better, kind of worse.
I think it's worth Shroud in a deck where you're focusing on one creature. I think is worse.
Yes, be very careful because if you want, we have some wombo combos to make the Impervious Great Worm even stronger. And if you have the Greaves on and it has Shroud, then you can't put your own equipments or your own auras onto the Great Worm.
You're opened up into like effects that say exile target attack or exile all attacking creatures. Because then you can't sacrifice it in response. It's just dead.
Oh, yeah. So be very wary. If you don't like the Lightning Greaves, I don't really know what else you can replace it with because we're in
not a whole
Golgari.
lot, yep.
I would say Crashing Drawbridge, but we don't want another creature.
Yep.
So, in the deck. So, it kind of is what it is. Haunted Cloak.
Worms get cold too.
Yeah, especially the Selesnian ones.
Vigilance, Trample, Haste. That's what it does.
It don't do much, but
that does quite a bit.
it's honest work. Chariot of Victory. I like to imagine that the worm is pulling you in the Chariot of Victory.
I like to pretend that you're pulling the worm.
Listen, I might be in this instance like a pre-mending planeswalker, but even I can't pick up this 16 motherfucker. But anyways, it's going to give him First Strike, Trample, and Haste.
So the nice thing about the last two is they both give Trample and they both give Haste. Mm-hmm. And everything, all of our artifacts here, equip for 1 OS. So it's very easy.
Do they really?
Yep. It's easy to sandbag and just do 1 mana equip and go.
I feel you. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about, we kind of mentioned it before, we're running a risky strategy, putting all of our eggs into the proverbial indestructible motherfucking 16/16
What
basket.
is the Impervious Great Worm's greatest fear? The Swords
Rejection?
to Plowshares.
Oh, yeah, Swords to Plowshares.
How do we protect against that? We got the Greaves and the Boots, but we care more about that with the Haste.
Counter spells.
Yes.
Altar of Dementia. So, if they can't have it... Wait, I worded that.
We're not cutting this.
Hold on. Strike that, reverse it. Whoop! If I can't have him, then nobody can. Altar of Dementia. Mill somebody for 16 fucking cards. I forget the number. 16 fucking cards. It's instant speed sack outlet so that he doesn't get exiled. Because if he gets exiled...
You just scoop.
It's so hard.
Just scoop.
Don't scoop because you have so many recursion spells that you're going to get something. But
What are you going to get? Your fucking Brawn?
no, you can get somebody else's thing out of their grave.
Yeah, I
remember?
guess
That's
pull
the
that
only other way.
Gristlebrand out.
So, Grizzlebrand is banned, you motherfucker.
The banned list is a product of the Rules Committee, and the Rules Committee does not exist, therefore the ban list does not exist.
It's just like Twitter.
It's
Twitter's not a real place.
It's a figment of your imagination.
Much like
The Jews control the bandwidth.
Fucking Olivia. Asceticism. Pay 5, you get an enchantment. Creatures you control can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control.
Reads, creatures you control have hexproof.
Yes. Pay 2, regenerate target creature.
In the corner cases where they have something like the Shadow Spear that removes indestructible, you still can regenerate.
So has this been errated to just say creatures you control have hexproof? Really? So it's not actually keyworded to lose. Okay, so that does stop that. That's really fucking cool. So another thing you need to be wary of, though, is that regenerating your Great Worm is probably not going to happen. But it is an option.
Mm-hmm. It's there just to say hexproof.
Yeah, it's another way to just stop things from touching him. Greater Good.
Greater Good's probably the best protection spell we have because it lets you draw 16 cards and then discard 3.
You're gonna net
speed.
You're gonna net
13.
Yeah, 13. I can't do math. But it's instant speed, free sack outlet. This sack outlet costs some mana, but we make it work. Pay 1, you get Vampiric Rites, and it says pay 2, sack a creature, you gain a life, draw a card.
You're probably gonna have that 2 mana up in anyways. Like I said, you're gonna end up drawing a lot of dead cards in recursion spells. This just lets you. And you know what? You know what you do at the worst case? You have your old Stickfingers out, man.
Put him back in the command zone. Cast him for 4 again because you don't care if he comes back. Oh, yeah. Wait, that wouldn't work because he would be. No, he would be a 1 because we have Brawn in the command zone in the command zone in the graveyard. Whisper Silk Cloak.
This hits 2 fronts, makes him unblockable, and gives him Shroud. Again, you got to be kind of wary with Shroud.
With the Shroud,
but you're not playing against a white deck.
Worst case scenario, it's a 16/16. How much more do you need to slap onto this motherfucker?
Right. I like to pretend that like it's not. It just covers a little tiny portion of his body. So this just a little tiny portion of his body is invisible with the Whisper Silk Cloak. And like, and
everybody's just too scared to tell him that they can see him.
The Emperor's clothes. These are the bangers.
The gangbangers.
The gangbang.
You put it up there like that. I have to read it like that. Yo, okay, so this is the last card I put in the deck. Dakota said, yo, Tyler, do you have that Old Stickfingers list done? And I don't know what happened, but I got a message from like some sort of a ghost that said, Blade of Selves. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I've got the deck finished. Hold on. Yeah, let me send it to you right now. Cut 1 forest, add Blade of Selves. I actually did have too many forests this time. But, yeah, this is a great way to deal damage to a lot of people and kind of piss them off. But fuck them. You're playing a weird-ass strategy. Do what you got to do.
It's very expensive, $18. If budget's in mind, don't put this card in there.
If you don't like Blade of Selves price tag, cut it, add Teamer Battle Rage. The equipped creature has Myriad, which means whenever it attacks, you make a token copy of the creature that's attacking each other player or a planeswalker they control. You have to pick the player or planeswalker. Irrelevant. We want to hit them hard. It equips for 4. So, really cool card. Great if you have cards with Enter the Battlefield triggers.
Yes. Or leaves the battlefield triggers.
Slap that shit on Geigen and start milling everybody and recurring. Exponential growth out of Strixhaven. You want to hit this, my guy?
Until the end of turn, double target creature's power X times, where X is 2 for each one you cast, similar to Pest Infestation. That's green, XX. You pay 4, you get a double it once. You pay 6, you get a double it twice. You pay 8, you get a double it 3 times.
So let's put this in, let's do the quick maths real quick. You pay 4 mana into this spell. Your Impervious Great Worm becomes a 32. You pay 6 into this, he becomes a 64.
And you're killing somebody.
If you pay any more than that,
128.
He just it
256.
It gets out of hand very, very quickly.
I lost to that card in a World Spine Worm.
All right, grafted exoskeleton. Now I understand some people don't like infect, but you know what?
You're playing Impervious Great Worm.
I've seen what makes them cheer. Their boos mean nothing to me. Grafted exoskeleton gets slapped on, becomes an 18/18 infecting motherfucking worm.
Even if they have stuff that, even then, if they have an Ulamog that they can just chump block, it's dying now.
That's wild that a grafted exoskeleton on this worm just kills a basic god from the Blind Eternities.
More than a god. I love eldrazi.
I know, Dakota.
Pull a foil Ulamog faggot.
Dude, like, that's cool and all, but I literally built my Ulamog deck like 3 years before you did.
Checkmate.
Yeah, Inquisitor's Flail. So, we don't give two shits about this thing receiving double damage. Because we have Indestructing Fuckable. You pay 2, you get it on the battlefield. You pay 2 to equip it. It deals double motherfucking damage. What else needs to be said?
That's it. Oh, hang on. If a creature would deal combat damage to a equipped creature, it deals double that damage to a equipped creature instead.
I just fucking said that.
Well, fuck it. We got Indestructible, man. We don't give a shit.
Yes. We don't give two fucks. A little bit of saucy tech here with Key to the City. This was an ad by Dakota, and he did a damn good job because this helps shore up one of the weaknesses of the deck. What happens if you draw the Impervious Great Worm?
You're sitting in your hand for 10.
You know what happens if you accidentally draw the 1 out of 99 chance that you draw the Impervious Great Worm? Is you've got to draw enough cards that you can discard at the end of your turn, which is possible. Or you just have to fucking find a way to get Key to the City and discard that bitch, put it in your grave.
That works too, man.
Absolutely. But it's really cool because if you do pay that discard cost, then you can make the worm unblockable. It's also card draw on it, but we don't really care. Y'all mind if I praise God for a moment? I fucking love Loccidon Warhammer. Why? Because I'm a thug. You pay 3, put it on the battlefield. You pay 3, you equip it. You get +3. You get trample. You get lifelink. That turns your 16 power into 19. You're gaining half of your life every fucking time you swing. Every time you whip and simultaneously nay, you are going to get fucking life and make them dead and gayer than they already are. Fuck you, Dylan. Next card. Phyresis.
Enchanted creature has infect.
I don't think Dylan's gay. That wasn't me trying to say he's gay. I just got caught up in the spirit
Even
of the
if
hammer.
he is gay, we still like him.
Yeah, we still like... We'll tolerate him. Let's put it that way. Pay 2. Enchant creature has infect. Fuck you. Ooh, saucy. I'm coming in with the Great Worm. Tainted Strike the Yargle.
Triumph of the Hordes is $20.
Is it actually?
It's not worth it in this deck, but fuck, it gives a trample and infect, man.
Yeah,
That's a one shot. That's a one shot.
This is a cut you can make. If you want, you can cut and you can add in like
a forest. Because we're only running 35
Add
lands.
in a Become Immense or something like that. Some sort of a pump spell. Let's talk about the lands real quick.
There are some lands that I think are worth adding specifically. Otherwise, just add your 35 lands, which we have allotted.
Yeah, we've got some we've got these MDFCs, if you will. Balaged Recovery.
Which is actually $5, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah.
For an uncommon? Wow.
Yeah, but return target card from your graveyard to your hand.
And if you don't like that, then you can always play it as a tapped land. Colony Territory has a tiger on it, and that's based.
That's a leopard, but...
Is it?
Yeah. You play the land or you play a fight spell.
That's his arm. It looked like a stripe from where I'm sitting. Yeah. Rogue's Passage goes in the deck 100%. Pay 4. The worm is unblockable.
You know what's great about Rogue's Passage is I believe it actually comes from the Ravnica set. And
Flavor win. We got there.
Imagine this worm just going through this tunnel, just
dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel, and we're
blowing
gonna
it up
dig
as
another
he
tunnel,
goes
dig a
through
tunnel,
it.
dig a tunnel.
And
Quick
then
before
like, surprise, worm.
Mirror in the Moaning Well is too fucking expensive, but Dakota was like, yeah, it's an option. So
I really feel it's worth it because 3 mana, sack a creature, gain life to the toughness.
Yeah,
that can put you out of a bad spot. It lets you sacrifice.
It's a very low cost way.
$18 is very steep.
Very low opportunity cost, I should say, for a safety package for your
with high market
and Grim Backwoods.
Yep. So the budget report, as reported on Architect, is $231.53. You cut out
Blade of
Necromancy, Blade of Selves, Triumph of the Hordes, and Reanimate. That saves you $50 right there.
Yeah, even a little bit more. There's you can easily you could build this deck super cheap if you wanted to. Impervious Great Worm itself costs like $5.
Yep.
So you've got Impervious Great Worm for $5, Stickfingers for like 70 cents or whatever it is, and then all these quarter gumball cost reanimate spells. Yep. Yeah, and you'll have a good time. You'll have a good fucking time. Do we have any more slides after this? I can't remember.
Yes. Thank
the
you for
last
watching.
one. Yeah. So shout out to Dylan. I'm glad we finally
Subscribe to our podcast.
You fucker. We'll see you soon. I'm coming to buy my Spectre Tribal list, motherfucker.
Maybe today.
Maybe actually. So I don't know. We might get bored. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Thanks for putting up with our shitty jokes and our assholic attitudes.
And we have an announcement coming up, don't we?
Do we?
Aren't we doing a gameplay
For
episode
fuck's
soon?
sake. See, if we announce it, then we have to actually be beholden and do it. We want to make...
It's our podcast. What are they going to do?
Not much.
They don't do that anyways. Our average viewer lasts
We're going to be doing a Halloween episode. We're going to be doing the Halloween episode where me, Dakota, my wife, and our friend Kate, who is a weeb, are going to be playing a Halloween-themed game. I won't give you all the details right now, but I will tell you there is going to be a spider tribal list. There's going to be a bat tribal list. I'm not telling you any more about the bat tribal list. I want to build specters. I don't know what Dakota's going to build.
Right now, it's sitting at, I'm going to build an Edgar Markov deck.
Yes.
I already have one. I'm kind of cheating.
And if he does, we all three are going to gang up on him and get him out of the game fast.
My Edgar Markov deck is Soren Tribal. It's not
fucking
good.
Edgar Markov,
it's
you
not
motherfucker.
good.
You fucker. How does it win?
Soren Markovs.
God damn it. That's just one fucking vampire, my guy. You gotta fucking build fucking witch tribal.
Women are gross.
Thank you for tuning in to the best EDH podcast, your source for No Cringe Commander. This is your boy Tyler.
This is your boy Dakota.
And we love you. Jesus Christ is King, and we'll see y'all later.
Based. You gotta stop the recording.
I know, I was giving it some time.
Oh. Understandable. Have a nice day.
Women are cringe?
Sarah, shut the fuck up.
We're still recording.